morning, class 11D. We have already discussed the first type of public enterprise, that is a business enterprise which is owned by a government. First category involves departmental undertaking, where departments are set up under one control, under the government control, and these organizations, these departmental undertakings do various activities. They can be related to information broadcast like Air India, Doordarshan, and there can be corporate undertaking or you say departmental undertaking, banking services also. So there can be banks like Aryavrat Bank jo hai, it is also a departmental undertaking under Government of India. All the decision making, the things related to funds, they are all managed, governed and supervised by the Government of India. All the employees which are appointed in these organizations, those are also called as government employees, and the decision making lies in the hands of government. Okay, now let us talk about the second one, statutory corporation. What is a statutory corporation? Like I already told you, a statutory corporation is a government body, is a separate government body. A statutory corporation is an autonomous body where it is allowed for them to make their own decisions. They don't receive a part of budget as their funds, but they borrow funds from the government. It is not government's funds which run these statutory corporations, but they borrow funds from the Government of India. Now, how do they function? What are the rules and regulations? For this, for running of the statutory corporation, a special act is made. A special act is made, of course, by the parliament, means by the government. लेकिन ये जो autonomous bodies होती है, statutory corporations होते हैं, they are based on these acts. They are not governed and controlled by the government, but they are based on the acts which are made by the government. So you can say, under a statutory corporation, the government body, the Government of India body, spreads out, making separate laws and making these statutory corporations. For example, Life Insurance Corporation of India is a statutory corporation. Or you say, Reserve Bank of India is a statutory corporation. So do you call Reserve Bank of India government organization? Yes, we do. Is it not government? Yes, it is government. But it is a statutory corporation of Government of India. Or you say the Food Corporation, FCI. And then there can be various other sections also. Now when you compare the structure of a statutory corporation with a departmental undertaking, you see this is government, and government itself has decided certain departments. So they are not separated from the government. They are encircled within the powers, within the reach, within the approach of Government of India only. And here it can include All India Radio or Doordarshan or various other departmental undertakings that we have discussed. Or you say the Aryavrat Bank of India that I gave you an example for. So the statutory corporation is attached to Government of India, but it is separated by a special act of Parliament. There can be an act which is running Food Corporation of India. There can be a separate act made by the government which is running Reserve Bank of India, and there can be a separate act by the government, means by the Parliament only, which is running Life Insurance Corporation of India. Also, what about the employees? The employees of statutory corporation are called employees of RBI. They are called employees of FCI. They are not called employees of the government. But when we had talked about the departmental undertakings, I had told you DD में जो काम करते हैं या All India Radio में जो काम करते हैं या जितनी भी और departmental undertakings होती हैं, all the employees which work here, they are called as government employees. And they also are governed under a separate ministry, right? Railway Ministry, govern the Indian Railways and so on. अब इंडियन रेलवेज की भी कई सारी सब्सिडरीज हो सकती हैं, जैसे IRCTC होती है, वो और भी ढेर सारी चीज़ें होती हैं, उनके ऑनलाइन पोर्टल्स भी होते हैं, वो सारे गवर्नमेंट के डायरेक्ट कंट्रोल में होते हैं. बट when we talk about a statutory corporation has made an act, and then this organization, this statutory corporation has to function as a separate unit. So with this, let us begin with what is a statutory corporation. If you wish, please note this down and then we will move ahead. First question is, what is a statutory corporation? You can make this structure for statutory corporation, and this one is for departmental undertaking. This one is for departmental undertaking. This is your notes register, whatever you feel like writing. If you wish to understand it later, you can copy it down. Okay. So the structure of departmental undertaking and the structure of a statutory corporation. With this, it will be easier for you to understand also. Alright, so what is a statutory corporation? What is a statutory corporation? A statutory corporation is, you can write SC because you will be writing this many times. A statutory corporation is a stand-alone corporation. A stand-alone corporation which has autonomous powers, Now everybody knows the meaning of the term autonomous. I am the decision making power for me. I will decide for myself. If the decision has to be taken for me, it is me who is going to decide. So it is the autonomous organization. It has more powers. It has more powers than a departmental undertaking. It has more powers than a departmental undertaking. It is managed and controlled. It is managed and controlled by the board of directors. Appointed by the government. Like other corporate bodies means business organizations. Like other corporate bodies, a statutory corporation means SC. A statutory corporation has perpetual succession and a common seal. It has perpetual succession and a common seal. It has a legal existence. Separate from Government of India. Government of India अलग होगी और statutory corporation को as an individual अलग काम करेंगे. So it has a separate legal existence. It can sue, SUE means it can put a legal allegation on somebody and can be sued. It can sue and can be sued. You can put a legal allegation on any of these organizations and they can also put a legal allegation on any other person. Means if you have done a fraudulent activity or if you have done any other dishonest means you are working to them. Right? Now, features of a statutory corporation. So this was a general idea about the statutory corporation. Let us now talk about their features. First of all, formation. Inside features you write formation. Formation of a statutory corporation, like I told you, it is governed under a specific act made by the parliament. So you can write a statutory corporation is formed and governed. इसका क्रिएट होना और इसकी रनिंग, its formation and management running is driven by DRIVED, drive means guided by, is driven by a special act of parliament. Next feature, ownership. autonomous body, but still the government of India has control over it. So who are the owners of statutory corporation? The government is called the owner of a statutory corporation. So you write, government is the owner of statutory corporations. The government has all the powers over it. The government has all the powers over it. Means whatever is happening in the statutory corporation is autonomous, but still it is controlled by the government of India. जो government चाहती है वही statutory corporations में हो सकता है. Next is corporate existence. Is it a company or not? Corporate existence. A statutory corporation is a standalone corporate unit. Did you miss out something? Statutory corporate existence, so you can write a statutory corporation has or is a standalone corporate unit. A standalone corporate unit means it has its own individual existence. So it is a standalone unit. It can take legal actions for itself. It can take legal actions for itself independently. Next, financial autonomy. Financial autonomy means how much financially independent they are. Financial autonomy. Now under financial autonomy you can write statutory corporations manage their funds. Statutory corporations manage their funds through borrowings from Government of India, through borrowings from Government of India and through borrowings from Government of India and using their own profits in their day-to-day activities. So whatever profit they make by their own functioning, they use that money for them. Along with that, if they require money, they can ask money from the Government of India. Unlike departmental undertaking, for which a special section of budget is already allotted. But this is not so in the case of a statutory corporation. इनको अपनी रनिंग के लिए जो भी मनी की ज़रूरत होती है, they generate it through making profits in whatever business they do. Also, अगर वो गवर्नमेंट से पैसा लेती भी है, so government does not gives it to them like लो ये तुम्हारा शेयर. It's not like that. They take it in the form of borrowings. वो लोन के जैसे गवर्नमेंट से पैसा लेती है. And if it is a loan, it has to be repaid. Right? Accounting and audit procedures. Accounting and audit procedures. Who manages the accounts? Accounting and audit procedures. Now, as far as a departmental undertaking is concerned, their accounts are audited and managed by the people who are assigned by the Government of India. Let us find out what happens in a statutory corporation. So here you can write, they can manage their own accounting and audit procedures. They have to, rather not they can, they have to manage their own accounting and auditing procedures. Unlike departmental undertakings where audits are arranged and managed by the Government of India. where audits are arranged and managed by the Government of India. Next is staffing and terms of service. Those who work here, who are they? What is their existence? Staffing and terms of service. The people working as employees in a statutory corporation, the people working in a statutory corporation as employees are called employees of that statutory corporation, are called employees of that statutory corporation. Full stop. Guidance and help can be taken. Guidance and help can be taken from government officers. Guidance and help can be taken from government officers from time to time. However, the government is always there to provide them help when they require any financial decision making or when they require any expert advice. Now, what about the terms of service? रिटायर होंगे तो पेंशन कैसे मिलेगी, वर्क करेंगे तो कितने ईयर्स तक काम करेंगे, ग्रेजुटी या प्रोविडेंट फंड का क्या डीलिंग है, दीज आर ऑल कॉल्ड द टर्म्स ऑफ सर्विस. या उनका अपॉइंटमेंट जब होता है, सो व्हाट ऑल आर द प्रोसीजर्स दैट दे हैव टू गो थ्रू. सो एज फार एज द टर्म्स ऑफ सर्विस आर कंसर्न्ड, यू कैन राइट द टर्म्स ऑफ सर्विस ऑफ employees of the terms of service of employees of statutory corporations. The terms of service of employees of statutory corporation are mentioned in the acts, ACTS. There are certain acts of parliament for them, no? So their terms of services, their rules and regulations, they are all mentioned in those acts. So whatever is mentioned about them, they have to work accordingly on their jobs. So these are the features of a statutory corporation. When we talk about formation, they work under a separate act, and when they work under a separate act, they have a separate legal existence. They can sue and they can be sued. They have a perpetual existence and they work like any other company. Next is about their ownership. Of course, the government is the owner of these statutory corporations. When you talk about corporate existence, they do have a corporate existence, and all that a company can do, the same working is there for a statutory corporation organization. They work for profit, they work for service motive also, because it is a government organization and it has a service motive also. Next, they have a common seal and they have a legal perpetual existence. What do you mean by legal perpetual existence? Perpetual existence means किसी के आने से और किसी के जाने से ये कंपनी रुकती नहीं है. Suppose if somebody dies or some new member comes in, for a partnership business, it has to be reconstituted. है ना? This is what we have studied. But since they have a perpetual existence, means किसी के आने से, किसी के जाने से, किसी की डेथ होने से, there is no such difference. वो उसको हर बार reconstitute या restart नहीं करना पड़ता है. Next is financial autonomy. They are self-independent because they generate profits, and this profit amount is used for their working. Along with that, if they ask money from the government, it is not a part of a budget. It is a borrowing. It is a loan from the government. Next is accounting and audit procedures. Unlike departmental undertakings, when they do accounting and they do auditing procedures, it is decided by themselves on their own. Staffing and terms of service. Staff members, who they will be, how they will work, how will they retire, what salary will they get, how many leaves will they get, what shall be the amount of fund or gratuity they will get at the time of retirement, और कौन सी टर्म्स ऑफ सर्विस होती है, उनको कैसे मेडिकल लीव मिलेगी, क्या होगा, all that is to be decided by the act under which this corporate is running, under which the statutory corporation is running. For example, if somebody is an employee of Reserve Bank of India, जो रिजर्व बैंक को गवर्न करने वाला एक्ट है, वो जो उसके एम्प्लॉयज़ के लिए कहता है, वैसा रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया के एम्प्लॉयज़ के लिए किया जाएगा. लेट अस टॉक अबाउट द मेरिट्स ऑफ अ स्टैट्यूटरी corporation. First one, merits of a statutory corporation. Operational flexibility. When I am the king of my unit, I will decide what is going to happen in my business. So for a statutory corporation, they have a little more flexibility in operation as compared to a departmental undertaking. For a departmental undertaking, whatever they do, they have to ask permission from the government. If the government says no, they will not do that activity because they don't have any other act to govern them. They have to ask everything from the government of the country. But as far as statutory corporations are concerned, they have a little more operational flexibility. Operational flexibility means flexibility in how they do their day-to-day working. First one is operational flexibility. Operational flexibility. The statutory corporations can decide for themselves. The statutory corporations can decide for themselves about the day-to-day working, Full stop. They are free from government regulations. They are free from government regulations to a certain extent. They are free from government regulations to a certain extent. Now, why did I say to a certain extent? Because है तो ये government organization ही, doesn't matter how much free they are, they will still have to be under control of the government. For example, if somebody attains 18 years of age, I am an adult now, I can do in my life whatever I want. Still, even if I am as many years old, whatever my mother will say, I will have to follow, right? So I am a child. In the similar way, a statutory corporation will have to follow what the government will say. Still, they have a little more liberty as compared to a departmental undertaking. Next merit includes freedom from interference. Both of them are interlinked. Freedom from interference. Interference of whom? Interference of the government. The statutory corporations can govern themselves as per the acts. The statutory corporations can govern themselves as per the acts laid down for them, laid down for them, and unnecessary government interference is avoided. Unnecessary government interference is avoided. This is their advantage also, autonomous setup. The statutory corporations have an autonomous setup, means they can decide about the rules, regulations and policies for them. We will continue for the fourth period also because both are business studies. They have an autonomous setup. Because they are governed by the act, they can decide for themselves. Have an autonomous setup means they can make decisions for their own and they are governed by the acts of the parliament laid down by them. I see there are many who are simply sitting. I may be asking you what did you write throughout the class. Playing, sitting here, playing with your friend? Or not doing it? Please don't write in these diaries. Bring fair copies, otherwise it's not. Please write in fair registers. Next point, you are not in a college yet. Facilitates economic growth. Facilitates economic growth. Being independent promotes the feature of being independent promotes the feature of economic growth as they get backing from the government, because वो government के ही एक unit है, they get backing from the government and they can take, yes, please read the full sentence. No, it didn't get that. Being independent promotes the feature of economic growth as they can get government backing. It means the same, as they get backing from the government. Also, they have all the features of a private enterprise whose basic purpose is profit making. So they are not here for wholesale service providing, but they are here to make their own profits also. So उन्हें government से help भी मिल जाती है, because government की units है. Why will government not help them? And secondly, because they are there to make profits only, they will make money also. So this is how they get growth, economic growth. वो intended होते हैं ज़्यादा money making के लिए. क्यों? क्योंकि उन्हें अपनी running के लिए अपना पैसा खुद generate करना पड़ेगा. And when they have this instinct in mind, they may make more and more money through their business activities, so that they can have more profits, and this increased profit can be used as their own capital, because every time government will not help them, they will have to raise their own money. So this promotes economic growth in them. Let us talk about the limitations of statutory corporations. Some limitations of statutory corporations include the following. Limitations of a statutory corporation. First one is theoretical autonomy. Theoretical autonomy. Now here simply you can write, the government interferes in their activities. The government interferes in their activities practically, and there is no pure autonomy. कहने को तो they are autonomous, but still the government has interference, and the government has a control over all their decision makings. Next point is government interference. Both mean the same. Government interference. Theoretical autonomy and government interference both have a similar explanation. Why do they have government interference? Because Government of India, again everybody will say, see, this is a government unit and how poorly it is performing. That is why government has to make control over them. How bad are they performing? How poor are their losses? For the past 20 years they are incurring losses only. Can't the government do anything? So for this, the government has to maintain control over them, and when the government maintains control over them, there is autonomy involved. Okay, so it is only theoretical in concept that it is autonomous. However, the government has full control over it. चाहे जो भी आप कहें, government ही उनके सारे decisions लेती है. Next is undesirable practices. Undesirable practices involve those activities which should not have been done, but they do it. Now what includes the undesirable practices? They may misuse their autonomy power, they may misuse their autonomy power and interfere in the smooth functioning of the government. Now, how will they interfere in the smooth functioning of the government? The government wants these organizations to be good, but to make more profit, to generate more power for them, they sometimes involve into corruption. They sometimes will go away from the acts of the parliament decided for them. So अपने निर्धारित straight path से they deviate left and right also. क्यों? क्योंकि उन्हें तो profit make करना है, और ऐसा करने से बहुत बार क्या होता है, गवर्नमेंट की इमेज डैमेज होती है. सो दे मे इन्वॉल्व इन अनडिजायरेबल प्रैक्टिसेस लाइक करप्शन, लाइक डिसऑनेस्टी, लाइक नॉट बीइंग ओबीडिएंट इनफ टू द गवर्नमेंट. एंड व्हाई डू दे डू ऑल दिस? दे डू ऑल दिस टू जनरेट मोर एंड मोर पावर एंड मनी. नेक्स्ट डिसएडवांटेज और लिमिटेशन इज डिले इन एक्शन. Now sometimes there may be delay in action because they don't have that added extra pressure of the government that you have to work right now. So they are lenient about the things. They are not careful enough about the good work, about the help of the people of the country. They are not bothered about the welfare of the people because they are bothered only about the profit making of their own organization. Now that is how there is delay in action, delay in the activities which they were expected to perform. So in delay in action you can write in case of any disagreement, with the outsiders during the running of business activities, the matter has to be reported to the government. Full stop. The matter has to be reported to the government. Full stop. Government will take its own time. To make decisions. To write this. Government will take its own time to make decisions, and therefore there is delay in actions. Now suppose if they fall into any of the problems, they will have to tell the government, this has happened, I am in trouble. Then the government will take the matter in their hands. Now when the government will take the matter in their hands, like I told you, they have so many things to perform. So by the time the government will come to their case, it will take a lot of weeks or months. So in that case, it may take a longer time to perform. Because the government has to be asked. जब कभी भी ये statutory corporations किसी ट्रबल में हो जाती है, नॉर्मल फंक्शनिंग से और इनकी वर्किंग बिगड़ जाती है, so they have to report it to the government. The government will take its own time. अच्छा ये हुआ था, to understand the matter. After they will understand the matter, they will set up a committee. After the committee will decide and discuss everything, then they will come to a conclusion. ऐसा कीजिए, उनसे कहिए कि वो ये करें, ऐसे करके अपना लीगल एक्शन टेकअप करें. सो इस सारे प्रोसीजर में इट टेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम एंड देयरफॉर देयर इज डिले इन एक्शन और डिसीजन मेकिंग, नॉट एवरी टाइम बट मेनी अ टाइम्स फॉर द स्टैट्यूटरी corporations. So I hope a statutory corporation concept is clear to you. I wish to complete this. If you agree, let us talk about the government companies also. Because you have already studied the private companies, joint stock companies, this will become very easy. So let us quickly do. We still have how much time for the period? 20 minutes. We have enough. Government company. Now you see, what is a government company? Sarvagya Mishra, please sit on the last bench and you please get up from there, sit here. Okay. So a government company, as far as a government company is concerned, he will of course be the central authority. Whereas when you talked about statutory corporations, they have to be governed under separate act of the parliament. As many statutory corporations are there? As many statutory corporations are there are different acts of the parliament. Now there is one very important act in India which governs the companies, and what do we call that? Yes, Indian Companies Act, and latest revised in 2013, so we call it Indian Companies Act 2013. Now if any company which is a capital raising company is governed under Indian Companies Act and more than 51% of its shares are owned by the government of India, then it is called as a government company. Now for a government company there can be two types of owners. Government can be the owner also, and free, otherwise shareholders can also be other owners of the company. So a government can be the owner of these and other shareholders who are the individuals of the country, both can be the owner of a government company. सारे total shares मिला के more than 50% at least is with the government. 51% or more की हिस्सेदारी होती है of the government of the country, and the remaining shares are purchased by other individuals who after purchasing shares become the owners of those companies. This concept is clear to everybody, no? If I buy shares of Reliance India Limited, I also become an owner, and in return I will receive a dividend on the profits which they make depending upon the number of shares I have. So you write, what is a government company? A government company is established under Indian Companies Act 2013 or other company law, or before Indian Companies Act was formed, there had been other laws also which used to govern the companies, or any other company law. Full stop. It is established primarily for the purpose of primarily of profit making. Why is a joint stock company set up? A joint stock company is set up for the purpose of profit making. वो बनी ही क्यों है? To make profits and to multiply its money, right? So if there is any company which is governed by the Indian Companies Act or any other company law or a mercantile law, and 51% or more of its shares are purchased by the government of India, then that company is called as a government company. It will be such a joint stock company जिसका biggest owner government है. Alright, सबसे ज़्यादा शेयर्स किसी भी कंपनी के, जब सबसे ज़्यादा शेयर्स उस कंट्री की गवर्नमेंट के पास चले जाते हैं, then it is started to be called as a government company. Alright, it is a joint stock company, it is a public company, and other people can also buy shares and become the shareholders of those companies. So you write, it can be partly or wholly owned by the government. A government can hold 51% of shares, or 100% of the shares also, or 70% of the shares also, or 85% of the shares also, or full 100% shares also. The government can have its shares wholly or partly. The provisions of the Company Act are applicable on these companies. You can write this point wise also. The provisions of Companies Act run these companies. A government company can be a public company or a private company. A government company can be a public company, public limited, or a private limited company. So what is a public limited company? where anybody can buy shares. What is a private limited company? Where only the members can raise capital by purchasing the shares. This is clear to all of us. The shares of the company are purchased in the name of the president of the country. The shares are purchased in the name of president of the country. Government is the major shareholder. The government is the major shareholder. The government is the major shareholder, and therefore it exercises major control over the company, and therefore it exercises major control over the company. Because I am the shareholder who is having 51 or more shares, that is why I will decide what is going to happen in the company. How is the board of directors appointed, children? The board of directors are appointed when the shareholders vote. और जब 100 में से 51 लोग हमारे ही वाले हैं, so they are going to decide the board of directors as I will choose them to be. They will decide the committee members as I choose them to be. So whatever decision making is done in these public and private limited companies, which are government companies, it is majorly decided by the government. Okay? Whereas minor shareholding can be there of the other members of the country. Also, जिसने भी share purchase किए वो भी shareholder है, साथ में government भी shareholder है along with 51% holdership. So you write down the features of, first of all, examples. Wait, some examples of government companies include. Some examples of government companies include SAIL, Steel Authority of India. Steel Authority of India. They also trade their shares in the stock market. Steel Authority of India, or BHEL. What is this? Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited. The next could be BEML, Bharat Earth Movers Limited. So they are basically concerned with the transportation material or electrical material, sorry. This is associated with the processing of steel, wrought iron into steel. Bharat Earth Movers Limited are basically associated with the mining business done in India, extracting ores from the minerals and then converting them into refined metals or non-metals, right? So Bharat Earth Movers Limited, Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, Steel Authority of India Limited, or certain defense agencies. Defense agencies are some examples of government companies. Now these defense agencies, they may be making defense equipments also, or side by side उनकी कोई training academy भी हो सकती है. Side by side they can have army schools also, defense schools also. So this is how they are all in all profit making organization. They are not here for जनता की सेवा, but they are here as a corporate, as a government company to earn profit for themselves. Write down the features of government companies. Features of government companies. They have all the features that a private or a public enterprise have. 10 minutes, 9 minutes. First, incorporation. They are incorporated under the Indian Companies Act 2013. Right. Incorporation, they are incorporated under the Indian Companies Act 2013. And they have to follow all the steps required for, incorporation of a company. Remember those long series of steps that we have discussed for incorporation? So promotion, इनकॉर्पोरेशन एंड कैपिटल सब्सक्रिप्शन ऑल्सो। जो प्रमोटर जो काम करता है जैसे प्राइवेट कंपनी के लिए कर सकता है, द सेम विल बी डूइंग फॉर अ पब्लिक कंपनी ऑल्सो। देन द स्टेप्स फॉर इनकॉर्पोरेशन इंक्लूड्स promoters along with the managing directors, they will have to go to the registrar of companies, and when they go to the registrar of companies they will have to submit the fees. The fees is as per the capital of the company, and then what is issued in return? A certificate of incorporation is issued to them. So all those processes are included here for a government company to establish. The steps for incorporation includes strictly all those steps which are required for a private company otherwise. Second is, it is a separate legal entity. Separate legal entity means government as its owner is separate and government as a governing body is separate. Means I as an individual, I am separate and I am the owner of any XYZ company. That company also has its artificial as an individual existence, and I also have a separate legal existence. So it is a separate legal entity, means if the company is making profit, it is company's profit. It is not mine. I am getting a share of it because I am a shareholder. If the company goes insolvent, अगर उसके सारे पैसे डूब जाए, I will not be declared as insolvent, but the company as a separate entity will be declared as insolvent. So they have a separate legal entity. Third point is management. It is managed and controlled by the board of directors. It is managed and governed by the board of directors appointed majorly by the government of India. Appointed majorly by the government of India. As a logic, क्योंकि सबसे ज़्यादा shares हमारे पास हैं, I am a big shareholder. I have maximum opportunity to vote. 51% of the people from my side are going to vote. That is why I am the decisive power, that who is going to be the chairperson and who is going to be the board of directors. Into the board of directors, who is going to be the CEO of this company and who is going to be the other top level managers in this government company. Next point is governed by provisions of memorandum and articles of association. 4 you write MOA and AO. So again I repeat, those who have studied the previous chapter, for them this concept is not new, but those who are not entering into the classes, you have to study the concept of joint stock company. जैसे किसी भी दूसरी कंपनी के लिए उसका मेमोरेंडम ऑफ एसोसिएशन होता है, which contains name clause, object clause, situation clause, liability clause, this, that, everything. In the similar way, the memorandum of association is there for a government company. Now also there is article of association. I told you there are 33 different things which are mentioned in the articles of association, and there will be an article of association for a government company also, like any other company. What will our article of association contain? Can anyone tell me? I am speaking for past 1 hour. You should also get a chance, right? What's it? Please read out if you want to be properly available here in the class. Article of association, does it not contain the things about accounting, the things about audit, the things about the management committee, the things about how much authorized, issued, subscribed, called up, paid up capital will be there? Please read it out. I have shared all those lists with you, and I have also explained 15 of these 33 in detail. Please watch it out. Next point is accounting and audit procedures. We came to that. Accounting and audit procedures. You write for a government company and joint stock company की theory भी ऐसी नहीं है कि आप कुछ भी बकवास लिखा है. If you don't know means you don't know. It is not like English literature. Please start studying, otherwise नहीं आएगा समझ में आपको. And you know that the paper is set up objective type. You need to have a very deep knowledge of the subject. Otherwise objective type के खाली ढूंढते रहेंगे आप. So keep on searching. Accounting and audit procedures. So here you can write accounting and audit controls lie in the hands of Government of India. That this much is enough. Accounting and audit decisions lie in the hands of Government of India. How the accounts are to be maintained and how are they to be audited, how the management committee has to decide for the audits, all this is to be decided by the Government of India. And the last point is finance. Where do we get their finance from? This is a government company. Where will it get finance from? It will issue shares, ask for subscription of shares, and it will raise its capital. So for finance you can write, the finance is contributed by the shareholders either in the form of state or central government, So finance is through shares by government or shares through the capital market or stock market. Okay, those who are watching it online, fine. Next is merits. Now what are the merits of a government company? First of all, easy formation, because everything lies in government's hand. It can pass whatever plans they have for a government company. Easy formation. Then operational autonomy. They also have a board of directors for themselves, and the board of directors will take all the decisions for that company. So they have a autonomous organization. जब उनके पास अपना खुद का board of director है, तो वही decide करेगा कि उस government company में क्या होना चाहिए. Next point is independent status. The government companies have an independent legal status. The government companies have an independent legal status and a separate entity apart from Government of India. Fourth point, prevents unhealthy business practices. They just say, sometimes they don't bother. Prevents unhealthy business practices. You write good things because we are talking about the government. They are set up for the welfare of the countrymen. And therefore undesirable practices can be refrained. वो अनडिजायरेबल प्रैक्टिसेस से दूर रहते हैं, क्योंकि ज़्यादा फोकस प्रॉफिट मेकिंग पर नहीं, ज़्यादा मोटिव किस बात पर रहता है? आई शुड प्रेजेंट माई कंट्री. द गवर्नमेंट थिंक्स आई शुड प्रेजेंट माई कंट्री इन द वर्ल्ड सिनेरियो टू बी अ वेरी डेवलप्ड नेशन, टू बी अ इकोनॉमिकली स्ट्रॉन्ग नेशन. ओके, नाउ सर्टेन लिमिटेशंस. देयर आर ओनली 3 limitations. Only if the time permits. It is already 10. The limitations include freedom only in the name. There is no freedom as such, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट कंट्रोल होता है, बायस प्रैक्टिसेस भी होती हैं, अनडिजायरेबल करप्ट एक्टिविटीज़ भी होती हैं, एवरीथिंग हैपन्स. देन लैक ऑफ अकाउंटेबिलिटी. I am responsible or you are responsible. Is the government responsible? Are the shareholders responsible? Because the owners are scattered throughout the world, throughout the country. So who is to be the owner? And the last point is defeat of the main purpose. The main purpose of welfare and service motive is defeated. They eventually turn into a bad profit making monster. Fine? Thank you all those who have joined online. Thank you for being patient.